So today I'm working on my 80 series Land Cruiser and I noticed a pretty bad whine when I turned it on. Seems like it's coming from here, the power steering pump. And so one way to really tell if it is coming from here, you could look down here at your gearbox, and if you notice some leaking or if it's been leaking, most likely it's low on fluid or there's air in the system. So I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to temporarily fix this. Obviously, if you have a leak, you need to address those issues. But a really quick and easy way, if you need to get back on the road, if you need to get back to moving your vehicle, is getting a synthetic ATF, a mobile one, and putting that in there until it basically gets rid of all the air that's in the system. And that will essentially fix the issue. So if you notice in there, there are some bubbles in the system. And so actually topping it off and letting the engine run and maybe moving the steering wheel a bit will actually fix that. So let's do that right now.
See it unlocked?
One thing I do want to mention here is you want to be careful when filling this up. You don't want to overflow it. You also don't want to let it run dry. So kind of use your judgment here. As you let the engine run and as it cycles through, you're going to notice a lot of bubbles that form. That is good. That means that the air is getting out of the system, which means that there's going to be more room for fluid. And you'll notice like bubbles continue to form and it gets even more foamy or even like frothy as time passes, as you move that steering wheel, as you let it kind of cycle through the system. So what I'm doing right now is as the engine is running, as the vehicle's on, I go in, I move my steering wheel just basically to activate that power steering pump, and then I'll come back and I'll check and make sure that the bubbles are either more or they're diminishing, right? So as they start to diminish, that means that there's less air in the system. If you see bubbles, that's a sign, that's the reason why you're hearing that noise. So as long as there's still bubbles, you're going to hear that noise because of the air that is inside the system. So eventually you'll see something like this where the bubbles have gone down quite significantly, but you still see some, so you'll still hear a little bit of noise. I have air in my tire now. I pumped up the air in my tire so I can drive it around, and driving it around will probably be the best way to get all the air out of the system. But initially you want to make sure that it's not completely dry, so where it runs empty and then it messes up your pump, right? So initially this is good just to move it around, but once you have a consistent, it's been running for 10-15 minutes, and you can see that the bubbles are going down, then you can go drive it around and you could be a little bit more sure that it's not going to run dry on you while you're driving it. But this is just a quick way to get you back on the road, get rid of that noise. For me, it's just because I needed to go get it washed. I needed to get back on making videos, back on working on this beauty. So that is why I just decided to do this very quickly. But obviously the long-term fix is going to be obviously fixing that the power steering pump. And I think for me it's my gearbox. I don't think my power steering pump is actually bad. I think it's my gearbox that has gone bad, or that needs to be fitted with some new seals, right? So I'll make a video on that a little later, but for now I'm just glad to be able to get this back on the road. A lot of you might be asking, well, why ATF? Why automatic transmission fluid? Why would you use that instead of power steering fluid? Well, the simple answer is that's what Toyota recommends, ATF for the power steering pump on the 80 series Land Cruiser, and that's just because ATF is not as thick as power steering fluid, right? It's a little bit less thick, which allows it to flow a little better. That's just the way that these were designed. So that's basically what I read online. And that is what helped get rid of that whining noise. So I hope this is helpful to you guys. I hope you found it at least somewhat entertaining. Have a good rest of your day and see you next video. So I just gave it a nice wash. Looks good. We drove it around for a bit. Let's see it. Much better. And if we actually move it around, no more noise. That's how you do it, guys. Thanks for watching.